All right, so here we go. Billy Strings enters Cincinnati, plays 3 shows, and now he's on the road again. A little break here, a little break before he's back on the road. And now I was only able to go to the final night. I was able to do one night last year at the same venue in Cincinnati. And while that was by no means a bad show, I think I enjoyed this show way more. Seen Billy now 5 times. The Halloween show in Asheville a couple of years ago, still easily my favorite, but this might have been my second favorite show that I've been to. And once again, it's like his sets. I was even saying to my friend before the show, it's like, man, when the set starts, it's like next thing you know, it's over. And there's bands I've seen, even bands that I really like. There are times when I'm like, all right, man, can we get the set break? Can we get to the end? Can we get to the encore? And that was not at all the case tonight. And it was super uncomfortable. That was one thing. The venue did seem to improve. The temperature control in the venue seemed to be much better. I mean, I think people were just like passing out left and right last year. The floor was packed again. They were giving out free waters. That was very cool. But mostly it was just the fans and the air conditioning, I guess. Like I never took this hoodie off all night. I didn't want to overdress because I remembered how hot it was and I knew how cold it was outside. I was like, all right, I just got to sacrifice. But we're going to be inside longer. So I'm going to dress like I'm going to be inside. Well, if you were there, you know, you paid for it the brief times you were outside, you paid for it. It's like a tradition, a cold walk to a parking garage after the show. Billy String, Cincinnati. I think that's the way it goes. Hopefully next year he holds off to like April or May. I guess we should get started here. We're a minute and a half in. Sorry, no whiteboard. I mean, a lot of songs with a lot of words in the title. You know, this bluegrass gets a little wordy sometimes, you know. No more to leave you behind. Will you be loving another man? Even stone walls, steel bars. This wasn't going to fit on a whiteboard. You combine that with over 20 songs. Started out with On the Line, Ruby, Doing Things Right. Just like, like right off the bat, boom. Not that they were going to start out with some stinker. Not that they have a lot of stinkers. And then there's songs like On the Line, I think Taking Water was another, Watch It Fall. There's a few songs that maybe like if I'm listening to the albums, most of the time I'm going to skip them. But then when you're there live, you're like, man, this is a great song. On the Line was definitely one of them. Ruby, my friend was carrying on about Ruby all night long. Like he's very into him. You know, he said he hadn't been watching a lot lately. But that he called the Tennessee Encore. He was carrying on about Ruby all night at dinner. Oh yeah, congratulations. Did you have luck? Did you have any luck getting dinner? We went to like 7 places. We ended up at the chicken and waffle place, which was very good. You know, I never got into chicken and waffles. I was like, it just don't seem right. I don't want maple syrup anywhere near my chicken, nor do I want hot sauce near my waffles. 2 thumbs way up to the Belgian house. So then we got the first big banger of the night, So Many Miles. Billy Failing's going off on that one. And it started to, you know, not that there was no jamming at all before that. You know, Doing Things Right feels like a little jam here. I'm Still Here right before So Many Miles, actually. I skipped over. Then we got Stonewall, Steel Bars, No More to Leave You Behind, Nothing's Working. It was like that John Deere tractor. And then it finished very strong with Meet Me at the Creek. A very cool part in the middle of Meet Me in the Creek. I mean, it always is, you know. But it got a little extra cool. There was a young UC college student nearby me. At the beginning of Meet Me in the Creek, I offered her a hit of my vape. She took a monster hit. I mean, she took Fat Cloud to the next level. I was pretty much done with her for the night, though, man. I think it did the trick because not that she was bothering me in any ways or not, but she was zoned in for the rest of that Meet Me at the Creek and the rest of the show. Get started the second set with Cabin Song, but then from there on, again, not that like that's a bad one. I hate to like any song that I'm like wasn't, you know, part of the show where I was just totally getting down. It's not like these are bad, crappy songs, you know. Taking Water, one of the ones I mentioned. Then Ice Bridges, probably the surprise of the night. One song that I just often do not think about. But then boom, we get it right in between Watch It Fall and Taking Water. Watching It Fall, Taking Water. So that was nice. And, you know, like I said, with those 2 songs, I've already said multiple times, actually. Probably not going to listen to them a whole lot in my car on Spotify. But, or, you know, if I'm busting out my vinyl to sound like more like a hipster, well, I'm in my room here with my vinyl playing. So Ice Bridges may be the surprise of the night. Like I was kind of expecting Meet Me at the Creek or Turmoil and Tinfoil. Like I paid close enough attention to know that those were probably due. Pretty happy that we got both of them. You know, I think this is the second time I've went to a show and I got both of them. But, you know, going back 4 years ago, they didn't quite have the arsenal they do now. No All Fall Down, though, unfortunately. Then things really get going. I think Billy even said after Will You Be Loving Another Man, he was just like, all right, man, enough about Mama. Let's jam some shit. And then it started with Living Like an Animal, Long Forgotten Dream, back to back. That was just total chaos. Then they calm it down a little bit, but for an absolute awesome song, Alice in Chains Nutshell. Again, if I said Ice Bridges was the surprise of the night, I guess I'm wrong. It was definitely Nutshell. That was definitely awesome, right in between Long Forgotten Dream and Wargasm. Wargasm's one that kind of became one of my favorites after that Halloween show a couple of years ago. And even pre-show, my friend was like, Wargasm, yeah, it's all right. And there's some girl was like, I really like the lyrics. I'm like, yeah, well, I fucking really like the guitar, all right? And then other the lyrics are bad. She's right. So then by the end of the night, he was like, yeah, you're right, Wargasm. You just got to see it. It was the first time he had caught it live, I think in 6 or 7 shows. And then In the Morning Light, Chicks. While Chicks back in the 90s, they were digging the long ball, they certainly dig In the Morning Light now. It was like a ladies sing-along for In the Morning Light. Then we got Libby Phillips' Rag, and then Turmoil and Tinfoil, ending it strong, just like they did the first set with Meet Me at the Creek, Turmoil and Tinfoil. One of the songs where everybody gets their chance, kind of like Meet Me at the Creek. It's not just Billy. Of course, Billy comes out and just shreds everything with a solo and kind of steals the show, but Jared and everybody getting involved. Big night for Alex, the Mandalorian, although he doesn't play the Mando. It's weird that Jared looks like, plays the Mando, but then Alex kind of looks like Pedro Pascal, the Mandalorian. And then the encore was Tennessee. Like I said, spoiler alert. But my buddy called that, man. He's tuned in. Sometimes I feel like I'm tuned in to Fish. I can't call encores. And Ruby, he was really excited about that Ruby. His young son missed Ruby. We did see a couple kids there, and I didn't realize until very late in the night. I kept trying to blow my fat clouds up in the air. Just the current would kind of take them right to these kids, man. I'm talking 4 and 9. Earpieces on, earmuffs. Earmuffs didn't save them from those fat clouds, I'll tell you. These kids left there higher than shit, I bet. Where is my vape? Should take a vape in honor of that Wargasm. All right, well, boom. Thanks to everybody that I ran into a few people that come up and said hello. Never gets old, People coming up and being like, hey, man, I think you're pretty cool. I dig your videos. I really enjoy that, Kind of really butters my biscuit, you know what I'm saying? And then a couple times some guys come up and be like, hey, you're that asshole on YouTube, aren't you? And I'm like, unfortunately, yes, that's me. All right, guys, boom, we're out of here. Go Billy.